In a distant land, far to the west, where the soil was rich and the harvest bountiful, there lived a mighty king named Alexander. He was a man of great wealth, his kingdom prosperous and his coffers full. Yet, despite his worldly success, the king was burdened with sorrow. His beloved queen, though revered and adored, could not bear him an heir. His most cherished mare, a creature as noble as any, also failed to produce a foal. Desperation consumed him, for without an heir, the future of his kingdom seemed uncertain. In his anguish, the king summoned the greatest minds and healers of the realm, seeking a remedy to his plight. His call was answered by a mysterious alchemist, a man of ancient knowledge, who entered the royal court one fateful day. His robe was as dark as night, and his eyes glimmered with the secrets of the ages. He approached King Alexander with a proposition. "I offer you a cure," the alchemist said, his voice smooth and measured. "But before I grant it, you must agree to a solemn bargain. The firstborn son of your queen, and the firstborn of your mare, shall be mine." The king, desperate for a solution, agreed without hesitation. The alchemist handed him a vial filled with a peculiar herbal brew, its scent both earthy and sweet. The king, trusting in the stranger's promise, poured the potion into the food of his queen and mare. As the seasons passed, a miracle occurred. The queen gave birth to a son, a child of unparalleled beauty, with locks of hair that shimmered like silver and gold. Likewise, the mare bore a foal of exceptional brilliance, a creature whose coat gleamed like the sun itself. The king was overjoyed, naming his son Leonardo, after the divine gift he had received. For 12 years, the king lavished love and care upon Leonardo and his extraordinary steed. They were his pride, his joy, and his only companions. Yet, as the boy grew into adolescence, the alchemist returned, his presence as foreboding as ever. He demanded the return of the son and the mare, for they were bound by the agreement made long ago. King Alexander, however, could not bear to part with his beloved son and mare. He refused the alchemist's demand, much to the latter's displeasure. In his rage, the alchemist devised a nefarious plot to claim what was rightfully his. He approached the royal cook with a poisonous brew, one that would kill anyone who had consumed the first herbal solution the alchemist had given before the birth of the son and the mare. The cook, unknowingly, prepared a feast, and the food was served to all in the palace. But the magical horse, with her mystical instincts, sensed the danger and warned Leonardo in time. He refrained from eating, but tragically, his mother, the queen, partook of the meal and was struck with a fatal illness. In her final moments, she whispered words of love to her son before she passed away. The alchemist, now aware that the horse was more than it seemed, plotted once more, this time to destroy the steed. But the horse, ever watchful and wise, urged Leonardo to flee. "We must part," the horse said, "for I cannot live among men. I belong to the wild, to the jungle, where I can roam free. But should you ever wish to find me again, take a lock of my mane. Burn it, and I will come to you." With a heavy heart, Leonardo agreed, and the two set off on a journey that would take them through dense forests and barren deserts. At last, they came to a vast, untamed jungle, where the horse bade Leonardo farewell. He offered the young prince a lock of his hair as a token of their bond, and with a final nudge, he disappeared into the wilderness. Alone and determined, Leonardo ventured onward, his heart heavy with the loss of his companion. One day, he came upon a humble shepherd, who was struck by the young man's strange appearance and ethereal beauty. Moved by compassion, Leonardo requested the shepherd to exchange clothes with him. The shepherd agreed, and so Leonardo donned the simple garb of a shepherd, hiding his golden hair beneath a piece of leather to shield his true identity. In the city, Leonardo's arrival did not go unnoticed. Children, amused by his unusual appearance, followed him, laughing at his strange attire. But one kind man, a charcoal maker, intervened, scolding the children and leading Leonardo to his humble workshop. There, he offered Leonardo work, though it was menial and poorly paid. In exchange, the young man could sleep in the small shed where the charcoal was stored. Leonardo, weary and without other options, accepted. In this kingdom, a grand tradition of marriage was held. The king had 7 daughters, and the youngest was the most beloved, both for her beauty and her wisdom. She, unlike her sisters, was not swayed by wealth or power, but by something deeper. On the day of the great marriage selection, the women would hold apples, and the men would pass before them. When a woman chose her future husband, she would throw the apple beneath his feet. As the day approached, the king's daughters set out to meet potential suitors from across the land. The eldest sought noblemen and merchants, while the youngest wandered the streets, visiting humble places where the common folk gathered. It was here, in the bustling market, that she first saw Leonardo. He was weary from his work in the heat and, paying no mind to anyone, he closed the door of the shop to briefly free his hair, which shimmered with golden light as he uncovered it. The princess, though no words were exchanged, knew at once that this was no ordinary man. On the day of the selection, each of the princesses threw her apple, but the youngest's fell at the feet of the humble charcoal worker. The king, perplexed, questioned her choice, but she was resolute. To test the sincerity of the suitors, the king set an impossible challenge: they must bring him the milk of a lioness who had never been touched by a lion. Many of the suitors tried and failed, but Leonardo, knowing that only the horse could guide him, burned the lock of the horse's mane. The horse appeared, leading him to the jungle, where the lioness and her king, the great lion, came every midday to drink from the river. Leonardo was told that he must kill the lion to claim the milk. After a fierce battle, he defeated the mighty lion and obtained the precious milk. He returned with the milk divided into 6 bottles for the 6 men to present it to the king. However, when it came time for Leonardo to present a bottle, he had none, as he had chosen not to keep one for himself, uninterested in the king's wealth. His only desire was the princess's hand in marriage. Despite the king's objections, the princess remained steadfast in her choice. She married Leonardo, and together they lived in a humble cabin within the palace garden. Over time, the other sisters grew dissatisfied with their husbands, but the youngest was content, for she had chosen wisely. One day, while bringing food to her husband, the princess found the door to the charcoal maker's shed closed. As she opened it, she was once again struck by the beauty of Leonardo's golden hair, now uncovered. Her love for him grew deeper. And so, their lives continued in quiet contentment. But one fateful day, a great war descended upon the kingdom as an invading force sought to conquer its lands. Amid the chaos, a mysterious knight emerged, leading the kingdom's forces with unmatched bravery and skill. Each day, he vanished without a trace, his identity hidden from all. However, on the final day of battle, as the kingdom achieved victory, the knight was gravely wounded and unable to retreat. When his helm was removed to tend to his injuries, it was revealed that the heroic knight was none other than Leonardo, the golden-haired prince. His valor and sacrifice became the pride of the kingdom. The king, in awe of his daughter's wisdom and the bravery of Leonardo, could not help but feel immense pride. The bond between father, daughter, and son-in-law had been forged through trials and love, a kingdom secured not just by wealth, but by courage, loyalty, and heart. Thus, the tale of Prince Leonardo and his golden and silver locks passed into legend, a story of magic, love, and destiny.